Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Sathya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam. Free online classes in science. And now we are in a very interesting chapter called Combustion and Flame. Every day in our body, combustion takes place. Correct? That is internal combustion, not seen from outside. Even though the weather is very cold outside, we feel very hot inside. And that combustion takes place without our notice. Let us see some more interesting things about combustion. Let us just revise what we have seen in the previous class. Combustion and kinds of combustion. What is combustion? When a substance is heated, if it burns, giving out heat, then it is called combustion. There are two types of combustion. One is external combustion, another is internal combustion. When a wood, when it is burnt, that is external. When a candle is burnt, that is external combustion. We can see from outside, correct? So internal combustion refers to what happens in our body inside, how the food is digested and giving energy. Is it not? And also we have seen about fuels. So for the combustion to take place, fuel is compulsory. What are three things that are required for a combustion to take place? Three things are necessary. One is called fuel, then oxygen, then heat. They are the three basic things for combustion, correct? And also we have seen about different kinds of fuels that exist in three states. What are the three states of fuels? Solid fuel. Can you give an example? Yes, you have wood. Solid fuel consists of wood, charcoal, coal, etc. And liquid fuel consists of petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. And gaseous fuel consists of LPG gas, natural gas, gobar gas, and so on. So there are different kinds of fuels. Anyway, fuel is very important. Even when you are eating food, the food itself is called fuel. Oxygen you are inhaling through nose. Is it not? And heat will be present inside the body temperature. And also, for example, to light a lamp, it takes some time. Even if you have a matchstick and if you strike against the matchbox, light is produced only after some scratching, once, twice, thrice. Is it not? It won't come immediately. The temperature, the minimum temperature that is required for the combustion to take place is called ignition temperature. The lowest temperature to catch fire. For example, the burning of a matchstick, even candle also, or your deepa in your home, you may have very good experience. How many have the habit of lighting deepa in your home? Of course, most of the girls do it. Some of the boys also do it. It's a good habit. When you get up in the morning, after you are washing your face and brushing and all, after ablutions, when you become fresh, first thing you have to do is showing thanks to God. Is it not? That is doing prayers. And before doing prayers, we have to light the lamps. How to light the lamps? You must have the lamps and there will be a wick inside. And the wick is to be soaked in the oil. And then you have to strike the matchstick against the matchbox. It catches fire and brought near the wick. And it takes some time. Have you observed? Yes, that is called ignition temperature. Similarly, candle, it will not catch immediately. It takes some time. And even while waving arti, it takes some time. So that is what is called as ignition temperature. There are some substances which catch fire instantaneously. For example, petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. Just a stick, or even LPG gas also. When you bring a matchstick rubbed against a matchbox, it catches fire. So that is called inflammable substances. You might have heard about the fire which catches in the forest, summer especially. The weather is very hot, the dry grass gets fire if there are rocks nearby, and this fire will spread. Very difficult to control such fires. That is called forest fires. So that is what is meant by inflammable substances. Coming to home assignments. First question: what are inflammable substances? Give 2 examples. The substances which have very low ignition temperature, means which catch fire easily and can easily catch fire with a flame, is called inflammable substances. Example: petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, etc. Kerosene and wood do not catch fire on their own. Why? As the ignition temperature of kerosene and wood are high, they do not catch fire on their own. So it takes some time, especially wood, especially those in the olden days, they used to cook, with the wood only. And it takes so much of time. You might have seen how the women in the kitchen, they wish to blow air inside that. When you blow air for some time, the smoke that was coming up will just vanish and then fire catches. So here, the petrol, diesel, etc., the lid of the tin containing kerosene, etc., has to be kept tight as it evaporates. So even though it did not catch fire, it evaporates. Okay, you might have seen the petrol tankers, highly inflammable, they write. So that means they catch fire very quickly, but they will not catch fire on its own accord. Only there must be some external substance to do it. Coming to the next question. How does the fire brigade control the fire? So you know that the fire or combustion will take place with the help of 3 things. What are 3 things? One is fuels, second is oxygen gas, third is heat. These three things are needed. So in the place of burning, the a fire brigade arrives and pour water on the fire. First thing they do is pour water. There will be long pipes, and these pipes are connected to a water tanker there. And from the tanker, the water is taken, and wherever the fire is there, they go on pouring water with pressure. What does the water do? It cools the combustion. So one of the three things, namely heat, is reduced by cooling, so that its temperature is brought below its ignition temperature. So this prevents the fire from spreading. Okay. And next question. Water vapor also surrounds the combustible matter, helping in cutting off the supply of air. So second thing is, by pouring water or by spraying water, it cuts the supply of oxygen or air. First it cools down, then it cuts the supply of oxygen. So in this way, fire is extinguished. What are we extinguishing? Putting off. Enhancing means increasing. So extinguishing means putting a full stop. Okay, that is how the fire brigade. What is fire brigade means? What? That vehicle containing the materials for putting off the fire. It will have a water tanker, it will have a pipe, it will have a nozzle to control, and so on. The whole thing, it will have a siren also. The whole system together called as fire brigade. And they will immediately rush to the place when they are called, and they will act immediately. You have seen, is it? Okay. Now coming to topics for today, the essential requirements needed to produce a fire. So this is an example of fire. What are things needed? One is fuel, wood, petrol, etc. Here there is wood here. Then you have air or oxygen. So oxygen is compulsory, is it not? And then you have heat. So certain heat is needed to raise the temperature of the fuel beyond the ignition temperature. So these are three things required for producing fire. And you must note that the fire can be controlled by removing the one or more of these requirements. So out of these three, of course, you cannot control the fuel. For example, if a building catches fire, whole building is a fuel. It may spread to one place to another. But you can control air, and also it can control heat. Okay. So this device, it controls the fire, is called fire extinguisher. There are different types of fire extinguishers, but we are studying only one or two types. So here this is called soda acid fire extinguisher. And in this fire extinguisher, what does it do? Extinguishing means putting off. Here there you can see burning fire, it can be put off. It's a device to control or extinguish fire. The job of fire extinguisher is to cut off the supply of air or to bring down the temperature of the fuel, or both. So here there are two types. One is of using water. Second is that of producing carbon dioxide gas. So that is a fire extinguisher. Now there are some common types of fire extinguishers. Two common types. One is extinguishing using water. But water works only when the things like wood, paper are on fire, but not fuels like oil and petrol. Only when a building catches fire, or log of wood catches fire, paper catches fire, then you can use water. But in case of electrical gadgets, or in case of oil or petrol, water cannot be used. Why? Because the oil will float on water. So it increases. The fuel cannot be controlled there. And therefore, water cannot be used. So what is the solution? Then we have to use carbon dioxide. That is called soda acid type. How to produce carbon dioxide? That is, in the case of fuels like petrol and fires involving electrical equipments, carbon dioxide extinguisher is used. It is also called soda acid type. What is soda? Soda is nothing but baking soda. Baking soda, and acid means what? Acid is sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. So by the reaction of these two, that immediately produces carbon dioxide. Okay. For example, this is an office, photo of an office. In this office, you can find this red colored cylindrical tube. How many have seen it? Yes, you have seen. In all the schools nowadays, for all the new buildings, this fire extinguishers is compulsory. So this is one model of the fire extinguisher. This is a meter. It shows how much of acid or how much of the fire extinguisher made use of. It is known. So company name and all. It's kept in a steel body, very strong body, and it has got a strong nozzle because it should not come out, should not leak out. So in the case of a fire in the office, then they use this. So you must know how to operate it. Of course, you may have a very good fire extinguishers. If you don't know how to on it, no use. So you should know how to operate it. It's just pressing in the top. So when you press in the top, what happens? Reaction takes place. So, and carbon dioxide produced. One type of fire extinguisher consists of steel cylinders, just like LPG, containing chemicals like sodium bicarbonate and dilute sulfuric acid. So baking soda, formula is NaHCO3, and dilute sulfuric acid, formula is H2SO4. These two on reaction produces carbon dioxide gas. Okay. When these two chemicals come in contact, carbon dioxide is released. So when carbon dioxide is produced and engulfs the area, it reduces fire, or it acts like a extinguisher of fire. Okay. Now let us see how does a fire extinguisher work. When released from the cylinder, the carbon dioxide expands enormously in volume. So when you just open the tap on the top, it gives out carbon dioxide. So what happens? It expands in volume. Suddenly there will be increase in volume. And what happens? When there is increase in volume, it cools down. Okay? And then, so it not only forms a blanket around the fire, but also brings down the temperature of the fuel. Suppose when carbon dioxide is sprayed to a electrical gadgets, what does it do? It actually protects the equipment from decreasing the fire. It may be, it may stop the supply of oxygen, or it may decrease the heat. So both are possible. So it forms a blanket. Blanket means not a blanket I use for sleeping. Of course, most of you use it, right? Every day. When the weather is very cool, use a blanket. So also here carbon dioxide forms a blanket, means it covers the area, and also it reduces the temperature. Brings down the temperature means what? Reduces the temperature of the fuel. So that is the meaning. That is how carbon dioxide is used in a fire extinguisher. Hence it is an excellent fire extinguisher. Carbon dioxide is excellent fire extinguishers. Whereas water also is there, but it is limited, not for all type of fuels. Okay. Now let us see some historical facts about fire extinguishers. The concept of fire extinguishers has been around for about 2219 years. So old. 2219 years old. Syllabus of Alexandria invented a hand pump that, among other things, was used to pump water to extinguish fires. So he had a hand pump. In most of the villages you can see, hand pump. Like that he drew water from that, and that water was used for extinguishing fire. It was not until years later when Ambros Godfrey, a German chemist, invented a fire extinguisher that used gunpowder and fuses to expel the water out of the fire extinguisher. Gunpowder. It is a mixture of chemicals like carbon, sulfur and potassium nitrate. So in the second type you had, it was invented by Ambrose Godfrey, a German chemist who invented fire extinguishers that use gunpowder and fuses to expel the water out of the fire extinguisher. That is the second type. And recently, modern type was invented in 1818 by a British captain by name George William Manby. The fire extinguisher was made from copper, held 3 gallons of extinguishing agent, potassium carbonate solution, and contained compressed air, potassium carbonate, 3 gallons. So potassium carbonate that is used as a fire extinguisher, and compressed air. When it comes in contact with compressed air, it puts out the fire. So this is the history of how the fire extinguishers were discovered. Okay. Now one interesting things you must note here. Government of Karnataka had made it mandatory to all the schools and colleges to have at least 2 fire extinguishers within the school compound, the school building only, at least 2. If the building is bigger, for every floor they want 2. Suppose the number of children is more than say 200. So the ground floor is not sufficient, they will have first floor. So the first floor again 2. So every floor should have at least 2 fire extinguishers. That is the instruction of the Karnataka government and in other governments also. Coming to home assignment, first question. State the 3 essential requirements for producing fire. What is a fire extinguisher? Name any 2 types of fire extinguishers. How is the fire extinguished? When carbon dioxide is used, passed into the fire. Water is not suitable for extinguishing fire involving petrol or diesel. Why? And let us see what Sadguru Madhusudan Sai says. This is a beautiful photo of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Let us see his quotation. Who is a yogi and who is a bogi? He says. A yogi is he who is in constant communion with God. This communion means what? Heart to heart relation with God. Who lives for God and whose life is centered around God is called a yogi. And the one whose life is self-centered and who lives only for oneself is called bogi. In Kannada there is a quotation. One who eats 1 time in a day is called yogi. 2 times, one who eats 2 times is called a bogi. One who eats 3 times in a day is called rogi. One who eats 4 times in a day, hottukundu hogi, means you can carry him. How many times you eat is just tell the category to which you belong. Are you a yogi? Are a bogi? Are a rogi? Are a hottukundu hogi? So Sadguru says, be a yogi. Means always try to concentrate on God. Do all the actions for the love and grace of God. Okay? So come prepared for the home assignments. Thank you.